I just know I caught y'all off guard with another reaction video. But welcome back. Before we get started, today's gonna be a good day. I hope you guys staying positive, loving yourself, and doing what makes you happy. Now we are back with another video. Now in this video, I wanted to find a very, interesting topic that could make people, unease and myself unease. So I found this video. It's also a JUBILEE video. It's called "If Christians Were 100% Honest," and I wanted to watch this video because I once was Christian. So I would like to see what kind of questions they are going to ask them, and I think this is one of those anonymous things again. So let's get into the video.
What if you could speak your mind without fear of judgment? We brought together 7 strangers, protected their identities, and created a space for them to be completely honest. What will be revealed when they take the mask off?
There is something wrong with LGBT people.
Let's see what they say. Oh Lord.
I'm gonna say
Agree.
no. Yes, I believe that homosexuality is a sin, but saying that.
See, I'm this kind of person. Let you be yourself. Let your preference be your preference. But I do feel like, especially the kind of social media we have now, they really push out the LGBTQ. Like I said, I'm not a judgmental person, but you know, especially at those younger ages of being a teen and trying to discover who you are, it kind of forced the social media that they watch. It kind of forces you to pick a side of who you are and who you want to be. Um, Especially they got you have it on social media. Sometimes you even see it on like cartoon. Like sometimes they put in like secret signs of the LGBT community. Like I said, I'm not against nobody. That's your preference, but I mean, that's one reason I can say I ran from Christianity. I can't talk Christianity. Not even just that, just like religion. Period. Because I found myself judging people because if you wasn't following this way or that way, then you would go to hell. And I don't feel like that's how you should live your life. That's how you should be in life. You should be a loving person. You should accept people as who they are. So let's see. Let's see what they have to say on this.
That like LGBTQ plus people, there's something wrong with them as people, as human beings. That's a harsh statement.
Okay.
So it's a hard topic.
This is a really sensitive topic because I know that a lot of LGBTQ people have been hurt by the church. They've been hurt by Christians. I personally have family members who identify as they, who are homosexual. While God hates sin,
like I said, there's nothing wrong with your preference or anything like that. But I seen a video once, and I've seen people understand them and they. There's their pronouns and stuff like that. Men and female, whatever. And a guy was saying, I forgot what question he asked him. It was something like, "How do you feel about those pronouns?" And the guy said, 1,000 years from now, when you long passed away, and they dig up your bones, whatever, they will identify you. They identify you as a man or as a female. It will not be no them and they. So he was like, that's something to think about when it comes to the LGBT community or whatever.
the homosexual, and he loves the transgender because he died for them. But the problem that I do see with LGBTQ people is that the lifestyle, it does take away a lot of things. They're depressed, they're lonely all the time, and that's not the life that God.
It's not even you being LGBTQ. I mean, you can just be different. Like you can be somebody to, always wear their hair a rainbow color. A judgmental person is always gonna look at you funny. Not even like being like religious, they're gonna look at you funny. Like why is your hair like that? Why do you look different? I mean, I feel like that's just a society problem. That's the society we kind of live in. So I wouldn't even say just
Christ,
these kind of people.
God can deliver you from homosexuality, and I've seen it happen. People who identify as bisexual or homosexual, and God delivers them, and they no longer choose to identify that way. One thing,
Ooh, yeah, fair.
you know,
I'm
the
sorry.
Lord says that if you have sinned against one law, you have broken all the laws. And so every single human being is wrong. Like if you ask that question, are homosexuals wrong? Well, sure. But are they a different type of wrong? No, they're not a different type of wrong. They are the same wrong
There we go.
as I am.
I feel like we tend to magnify the LGBTQ community. For example, I come from a Hispanic household and sexual abuse is brushed under the rug so many times.
Straight.
But you choose to magnify, let's say, my gay cousin over my molester uncle. You know what I mean?
Facts, yeah.
There's something wrong with both.
And the question is then why do we magnify the sin of homosexuality? It's because no one goes around saying murdering's okay, that theft is okay. But there are people going around saying, well, love is love and homosexuality is just love, and they're trying to justify it. And so the church has to do some sort of defense, and that's why this sin gets more attention than the others.
Yeah.
And so they can escape their shame not by marching down a street shouting pride, embrace who you are, look within. They can escape their shame by casting it on Christ and receiving his forgiveness.
Amen.
Women who get abortions are murderers.
It is God who gives.
This is kind of like a bittersweet subject because, you know, they say women are murderers and stuff like, well, women that get abortion are murderers and stuff like that. But what about those women that may have got into like a rape situation or something like that? You know what I mean? Like, and then again, like you never know. You never know what happens after you pass on and go to that next dimension. So, I mean, I really can't say nothing on it because I really don't know. But I mean, this is a hard topic to explain. Honest, I don't know. It's a hard topic.
Person takes away life. Man or woman.
But I do
no
feel
choice
like
taking a life
every.
if they didn't
Let me say something.
breathe.
I do feel like every being should have a chance at life. You know, so I can't say that.
Into. There is no going around that one, I think, for Christians. You kill a baby, that makes you a murderer.
This topic, sorry, it gets me emotional because I've just seen people go through that and sorry. And they feel it in their soul and in their spirit that it was wrong. And they deal with that pain and that shame and regret. My husband himself, him and his sisters, they are all a product of rape.
See,
And
exactly.
It's my husband. So to imagine that, like, he wouldn't be here if his mother didn't decide to keep them and raise them.
See, so, I mean, that's
It's hard to think about.
that's a hard
Maybe
one.
he's not in a good experience. Maybe you were raped. Maybe you were a victim to something abusive. Maybe it wasn't planned. But let me tell you something, God, he's never early, never late. He's always on time. And the fact that you were given
Hallelujah.
the gift of life, and if you can't handle it or you can't take care of it, there are options.
Well, I'm just wondering then, what would you think of people who like stand outside of like abortion places and try to stop people?
It makes me so upset, like the people who just protest and try to shove and judge and condemn others. That is not love. That is not God. That is not how he would handle people. Jesus is very gentle, and he would not make them feel like they cannot come to the Father because they are in shame or not worthy.
I do want to address, I think there's a misunderstanding about what people do who stand out in front of abortion clinics. What they're doing is not abusing them, they're not attacking them, they're letting them know that there's options, telling them about crisis pregnancy centers, offering to adopt their children, explaining them what an abortion really is. They're doing really important work. And if we all believe that abortion is murder, and we all just said that we do, well then what it is mass murder. It's genocide in the United States. It's worse than the Holocaust. And so I wouldn't want to throw stones at someone who's out in front of a concentration camp saying don't murder Jews. I would want to go alongside that person and applaud that person for being courageous. And I think that's really important work that all Christians should support to help try to fight abortion in this country.
I have had sex outside of marriage.
No.
Oh my god. Sorry.
I'm
Everyone was doing it. We're on many cycles with that. Like I've had an orgy with females. I've had,
I mean, I feel like it's if it's something you and your partner agrees on, I feel like that's okay then. But outside of your marriage, I mean, let's watch. Let's see what they say.
saying you can just hit up anytime you want to and they're available. You know, at some point you have to stop avoiding a sin because God hates not sinners but the sin because it comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And I'm now married and my husband abstained till marriage and he has had to deal with the repercussions of my sin in the past.
Yeah, I wasn't saved until I was 20, and before that time, I did have sex outside of marriage, and even when I was first becoming Christian, I would hear people say, oh, you can't have sex outside of marriage, and I said, okay, well, I'll do everything else, but I won't do that one thing, because that's a really hard thing to give up.
You know, when you have sex with somebody, it's really hard to move on from that. You start feeling all types of things with yourself, and it's just remembering that God doesn't say this to be mean or to.
I don't think a lot of people see this when it comes to sex, but like sex is a very spiritual thing because like it's like the change of energies and you know for you to feel your partner's energy, for your partner to feel your energy. So I mean, sex is almost like marriage, like a commitment. It's like you are giving yourself to another individual, you know. So I feel like that's what real marriage is. I don't think real marriage is putting something down on a paper, and you know. I don't think that's real marriage. Just my preference.
To be a dictator, but to protect you.
Yeah, if I can add to that, to be completely honest with you, I'm scared of sex. I had a very traumatic experience when I was younger where I have had family members intend to take advantage of me. And because of that traumatic experience, I just have had that fear to be enclosed with just one man in a room.
Even though I have not lost my virginity, pornography has been something that has been rampant in my life. And that sexual sin as well is...
I take my hat off to him for saying that.
In my
Being
spiritual
vulnerable.
experience has been almost equal. Going wrong against God, going wrong against self, that brings so much shame, so much guilt. But when the forgiveness comes, we see the true glory of God because we see how broken we were and how reformed we are through Christ.
Anyone who isn't Christian is going to hell.
Man, y'all, being in religion, this is one thing that I really, you know, was heavy on. Like, I was going through a phase of trying to find myself, trying to find out what I want to do in my life, find out who I am, you know, find out who to follow. And that's one thing I knew I was doing when I was Christianity. Like I was judging people. I was saying like, if you don't come to this religion, then you're gonna go to hell. And after really, you know, growing more mature, start learning more knowledge and wisdom. That's not God. That's not how you should be. So you know, that's why I kind of stepped away from religion and just, you know, did the inner work to find God for myself. But you know, I'm not knocking if you're Christianity, if you're Muslim, if you're I don't know any other religions anyway. But if you're any other thing, I'm not knocking none of that. If it works for you, keep going. You know what I mean? If it doesn't work for you, don't force yourself to do it because somebody else wants you to do it. So, food for thought.
Yeah, for me, this one's a pretty easy one. John 14:6, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If we're Christians, when we say we believe in the Bible, either we believe what Jesus said or we don't.
Yeah, it's a tough sentence to answer, and to be honest, I suppose I can't just flatly say yes or no, so it's tough. But with that being said, what does Christian really mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, I said no because everybody uses the word Christian now, right? I believe there's Christians who aren't going to go to heaven.
What about people who subscribe to, like, you know, say,
And I feel like
Buddhism or Islam?
I feel like heaven and hell is just a mindset to have on yourself.
It goes back to the Bible. It says that to go to heaven, you have to confess with your mouth and believe in your heart that Jesus Christ is Lord. And there's a lot of people who don't identify as Christians who believe that. What if there's a Satanist on his deathbed? At that moment, they confess with their mouth and they believe in their heart. Like, they didn't live their whole lives being Christian. Are they going to go to hell? I don't believe that. So I think to say that if you're not Christian, you're going to go to hell, it's kind of an absolute that drives more people away from Christianity than brings them in.
I'm thinking of babies that have died, and I don't think that they would go to hell because they didn't even know
A great point.
the sound.
Great point. Great point.
God gives us a choice whether we want to spend eternity with Him or whether we don't. And that's a free will choice that He gives to all of us. We all have to accept that we all are sinners. And the wages of sin is death. The wages of sin is separation from God. But I've heard people's stories who didn't even know the Bible and had near-death experiences where they actually went and visited hell the way that it was described in the Bible.
I'm scared of dying.
To live is Christ. And
I feel like, they try to make, dying such a bad thing, but it's really not because it's a part of nature, it's a part of life. I mean, nature dies and comes back, grows back. So when you think once you die you will come back in reincarnation, I don't know. Just a thought, like my mom be rambling, I don't know. But for me, I'm not so scared of death. I feel like where the fear come from, where the scaredness come from of is you not knowing what could possibly happen because you had your faith in one thing all your life. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's why so many people are afraid of dying.
to die is gain. That's my father's favorite verse. We are gaining eternal life. We are gaining a new faith. We are
I don't
gaining
feel
a new
like
body.
you
We
don't
are
you don't
gaining
die. You just move on to the next
freedom.
mission.
Not that being here doesn't have his
Energy never dies.
Obviously,
It's
it's
the best. Yeah. I always say I can't wait to die. My mom hates it. I always saying, God, take me now. Not suicidal, but we're always saying,
But I get what you mean. I know what I get what you mean.
my sister and
Literally.
we're always like, God, just come take us. Like, we don't want to be here anymore.
I look forward to the day where I see the saints gathered worshiping Christ and I could cry about it. It is going to be so surreal and so beautiful, and death is just the way to get there.
Yeah.
I fear losing my non-believer friends and family.
Not at all. I don't. I don't judge nobody based off. I don't judge nobody based on what you do with your life. I wouldn't say I judge, but like I pick the people I want to be friends with, and people I associate with. I pick that based on who you are as a person, man. If you Christian, if you Muslim, if you're atheist, I don't let that dictate who you are. How you act with me, kind of energy you give up with me. That's how I know if I want you around me or not. So, see what they say.
It would be the greatest pain to go to heaven and not see your siblings there.
I mean, my dad isn't saying
Like I said, I just feel like heaven is hell. It's a mindset kind of
imagine
thing.
a more miserable place than away from the perfect creator of all things.
In John 6, Jesus says that of all those that the Father has given me, I will not lose one. And so God is faithful and just, and I trust God that He will save all of His people. I pray for my loved ones who are unbelievers. I share the gospel with them. But ultimately, I know it doesn't depend on me. Salvation is in His hands. So it's not for me to fear or worry. In the Bible, it says that it's God's will for everyone to be saved. But at the same time, the truth is that not everyone will. When I was an unbeliever, I would always wonder, why are Christians always wanting to shove their beliefs down my throat? We know what the Bible says, that people will go to hell. And if we don't tell people about it, That blood is almost on our hands. And I do fear that there will be people that I know and love who won't ever come to God, but I know that there is still hope for them.
We'll have you put your masks back on.
That was a very interesting one. I like that. A lot of thinking. That was a very interesting one. I like that one. Very interesting. A lot of thinking. But there was another reaction video to again this YouTube channel called JUBILEE. If you like this channel, I will put their channel in the description of this video so you can check it out for yourself. They have tons of other videos that you can watch. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, which I will have in the description below. Guys, yes, the Breed Number merch shop is out. Also will be in the description. Go grab you some merch. Go grab you a hat. Go grab you a sweater. Go grab you a hoodie, a cup, a water, whatever you want to grab. But just make sure you go grab you something. But guys, remember to stay positive. Love yourself. Do it. Make sure you're happy. Now before we go, today's going to be a good day.